Hello and welcome to Let's Make an RPG, Part 1 Introduction, by me, Connor Jablonski, and there's my website, and you can follow me on Twitter. Here's my Twitter. Okay, so what's the purpose of this tutorial? Well, I want to teach some people to do C++ programming and be able to make 2D games from scratch in the SDL library. You don't have to be an experienced programmer, but you have to know basic C++ skills. Yes, like I said, you have to know basic C++, C++ skills, such as functions, if statements. I would do some tutorials on classes and stuff, but for now, you would have to have at least some experience in C++. You have to have passion, you have to have attention to detail, have patience, have even more patience, and you have to be born as Dragonborn. Yes, you have to be able to shout and ride dragons. So yeah, and you need patience because programming requires a lot of patience. And once you start, you will know why. And if you want to learn C++, well, there are tutorials online, but my biggest suggestion would be getting C++ book for beginners. That's an example. That's what I used, but there's plenty more. Okay, so what we will use? We'll use C++ programming language, SDL 2.0. I'll be using Windows 7, but you can use Windows XP with older versions of Visual Studio. I'm not sure if it works with 2010, but I believe it does. And you'll need Microsoft Visual Studio. It doesn't have to be 2010 version since it's paid. You can get free Microsoft Visual Express version from this website, from Microsoft website. The link will be also in the description. Just download it, install it. I'll do it right now so you can watch the video while you installing it. Okay, next. Oh yes, and the Visual Studio 2010 might be a bit different than Express version, but mostly it should be pretty much the same. At least the 2010 version of Express and 2010 version of Ultimate Edition should be. They are pretty much exactly the same, just few extra features in Ultimate version. So what should you learn? Well, hopefully you will learn some C++ object-oriented way, like classes, how to use them. You'll be able to make games in 2D with SDL. You'll be able to do some game logic, and you'll learn SDL 2.0 library. It's the most popular core 2D game library out there, at least from my knowledge. So what exactly are we making? Do you think if you're thinking you will make something like Skyrim, you'll be disappointed because no, we're not making anything like that because it's really hard and it takes a lot of people with different skills to make something as polished like this. Same goes with MMORPGs or anything like that. There's no way you make MMO as your first game. Let's just get that straight. It takes years of practice and programming to be able to do something like that, especially by yourself. So yes, no, we're not making anything like Skyrim. I'm not saying it's not possible, I'm just saying it's mostly waste of time trying it even as a first game. Okay, what exactly are we making if we're not making Skyrim? Well, making really basic 2D game where player will be able to walk around the stage and he will randomly go into turn-based battles like in the Final Fantasy games. You'll be able to gain gold, armor, weapons, levels from them from fighting. We could possibly add a shop where you can buy and sell the goods you find, and there will be 2D sound as well. I have similar game to what we will be making already. I made that about 3 years ago when I started myself programming. So it's Saturn's rough. So as you can see, this you can download it here, by the way, and link will be in description as well. Uh, you can attack, you can flee. There are abilities and items, but we're not gonna have them. At least most likely we won't. We'll be able just to attack and flee. There'll be a wait system where once you attack, you have to wait. As you can see, there's this bar which fills up over time, and once it's full, then you can attack or flee. Uh, Then you can choose. And also there's health. So, so as you can see from this beautiful art we've just seen, do you need to draw? Do you need to know how to draw? Well, no, these tutorials are for someone, they are meant for someone to learn programming. So you can either do two things. You can either go on Paint and just draw something really quickly, or Photoshop, or wherever software you want to use, or you can get it from online, but avoid getting any copyrighted art. So, but I would just draw your own art if you just want to learn programming. For now, at least. Later, your art can always be changed later. So, useful tutorials on the website. Well, useful websites would be Game Dev, C++, Lazy Foo. Game Dev is a forum website which is really useful for asking general questions about programming. Overall, you can ask pretty much anything about game development, really, not just game programming, but I usually use it just for game programming. It's a really useful website, and mostly people are happy to answer anything as long as you're nice. C++ website is more C++ like, but you obviously can still ask it on the game dev. I still find C++ useful, C++ website useful because it has some useful stuff about C++, not just forums. And LazyFoo is mainly on SDL, but keep in mind we are using SDL 2.0, and LazyFoo, I believe his tutorials are quite old, so his tutorials are using older version of SDL, which has few function changes. So he's using 1.2 and we're using 2.0. And there are other YouTube tutorials on programming and SDL and many more libraries. I was just looking into Lucy Kamesh if you want to know more about SDL. She has really good tutorials on I believe it's called Guide to Game Programming, Beginner's Guide to Game Programming, where she doesn't actually give you much knowledge about programming. She just because she expects you to know the programming, C++ programming, but it's really good. It's a really good website. It's really good. Those are really good tutorials, mainly because they actually teach you SDL, just SDL. Here we'll be doing like C++ 20%, SDL 80, and a lot about game and programming. So, and C++ guy has a lot of great tutorials on OpenGL, and he has some tutorials on OpenGL mixed with SDL as well, and on Box2D. OpenGL is more, it's for 3D games. Usually used for 3D games at least. So I was just looking into OpenGL, but you have good grasp of SDL. Also, you can get free sounds and music from freesound.org. That's where I'll be getting my sounds for this game, and that's where I usually get my sounds for most of my games. Also, you can make it yourself with the software, whatever software you prefer. But I don't know. I know a few, but I don't know if they are good. So because I'm not really a music composer or anything. So yes, I would suggest using the site for free sounds. You need to create an account, but it's totally free. So 100% free. How often will I upload tutorial video? Well, I'm planning on doing every week. Hopefully, if I'll be busy, I'll do it every 2 weeks. but usually I could do every week, maybe more often, but most likely up to 2 weeks basically. Uh, the way I'm planning on doing it is doing question of a day at the end of, well, it should be maybe called question of a week. At the end of each tutorial, I would ask a question, and if someone answers it correctly, they'll be featured in next tutorial video, and maybe I would do some prizes for winners, but I can't really give anything away. But I could subscribe or something. Yeah, so they could subscribe, for example, and they're mentioned at the end of the video. Also, I'll do exercise where you will actually have to do, actually, for example, we could do like, we'll make character walk left, and then I will be like, oh, make the character walk right, up and down by the end of the video, but don't make it go diagonally or something. And yes, and if someone provides the code or like submits a video showing that they've done it, they will win, and first person that does it wins and are featured in the next tutorial video. So I'm trying to get people actually to do some work as well, because that's the only way we will learn it, by actually doing the work. You can't just copy the code and see it work and not having no idea how it worked. It's really good to actually do some exercises. Oh. So yes, I'm more planning on making a game with you guys than for you guys. So if there's any questions, comment, subscribe, and the next tutorial will be setting up SDL 2.0 on Visual Studio, and hopefully you already installing or installed Visual Studio Express or any other version we're gonna be using. Thanks for watching.